What's up, guys? Welcome back. You made it to episode 10. This week we're moving on from our coaster station that we did last episode, and we're going to move on to revamping the dam that we built very early on in the series. Now, I liked the dam that I had before, but I felt like it needed more substance to fit in with the park that we've got going on. So I went online, looked up some images of old power plants and hydro stations, and this is what I came up with. Now, this is a picture of an old hydro plant that was located outside of San Francisco, I believe. I really liked the shape of the building and the style of the building. I liked it because it was fairly simple. It was this fairly simple square rectangular building that I could easily somewhat replicate, and I felt like it fit into this section of the park fairly well. So I just used the simple rough concrete panels and wall pieces for the building, and found these tall windows, I believe from like the castle set or whatever. And I really liked them. They turned out pretty good, and they replicate the image of the building that I was going for. Now, as I keep building in this park and I'm looking for ideas for buildings, I keep thinking back to what this park would have been like, or what buildings would have been there when it first opened. And I'm thinking that this park originally opened in the early 1900s again, so those are the kind of building styles that I'm going for. Now, as we move on in the series, in the next season, I plan on upgrading some buildings, upgrading some areas and different rides after I download some of the downloadable content. Now, season 1 for this build is going to last until we get buildings and rides all the way around this backside of the park, on the backside of the lake. Now, I'm looking at the area, and I think I can get at least 2 more roller coasters in with some more flat rides. Now that I'm thinking of it, I should probably do more flat rides, and then in season 2 we should add some roller coasters. But I'm thinking I want to do some sort of out and back wooden coaster along the hill that we have in the back, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that yet or not. Kind of depends on how everything flows and fits together. So back to the building that we're building right now, the hydro station, where I imagine that the amusement park in the surrounding area is getting all of its electricity from. In the original picture, you see the water coming out from the hydro station, the generators inside. They come flying. The water comes flying out the openings at the bottom of the building. So that's what I'm replicating here with the windows. I got rid of the pipes because I felt like it just stuck out, and it looked better by just filling the windows in with all black. At the end of this build, I'm super happy with the way this building came out, and I hope you do too. So if you like it, go ahead and drop a thumbs up down below. Show YouTube that you like this video. If you want to keep seeing more of these episodes, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you get notified when new episodes come out. It's kind of funny because I wasn't sure how many water jet or outlets I wanted on this building, but I felt like it looked better with it coming out all the way across the bottom of the building and filling up that whole river than just the 4 or 5 that I had initially. So now we have to move on to the roof of the building. Nothing's really going to go in this building except for down the road here. I'm going to add in a staff building, which you'll never see because it's hidden inside this building. So we're going to go ahead and put some trim pieces around the roof, so when you're looking up at the building, you see the edge of this cornice piece, the trim piece. Gives the building some more depth and texture and more interesting to look at. If we look back at our reference picture here, we see that the roof of this building is flat, so that's what we're going to keep with. And I like that because it's going to leave us the view of the inverted coaster back behind the building. When I stepped back from the building to look at it, I didn't think that the top of the roof was bold enough, so I went ahead and doubled up or tripled up the layers of the roof up top there, and it really grounded the building itself. So I think that's going to wrap up most of the construction on this building, and we're going to move over to this area where we fill in the gap between our casino slash ride exit and the hydro station that we just built. So to do that, what I'm going to do is add in some more shops and restaurants. I wanted this to be part of our casino building, and so we have to blend it in however best we can without taking up room and getting in the way of our coaster back there. Now, I didn't have a specific way that I wanted this building or this part of the building to look, so I just kind of started throwing pieces at it and see what fit. And I figured the best way to make this bend with the roof pieces that we have was to just extend the building for the casino, which doesn't hurt anything, and that way I can bring the roof down to a normal pitch, and the roof over the restaurant side can just go straight into the building with no weird angles. Went ahead and brought in some more windows over to this side to make it look like there's rooms over there and you can get there. So now, if you remember a couple episodes ago when I put in Sawyer's Souvenir Shack over by our wooden coaster, I initially wanted to put in this Lupo plane ride. And then I realized that it wasn't in my game, so I had to go back into Scenario Editor, unlock it so it was usable. And I'm glad I couldn't use it over there, because I like the way that it fills in this gap between our two buildings. And people really like this in the game, so it brings a lot of people over here. Initially, it actually brings in way more people than my roller coaster does. But once we start playing the game and more people are in the park, both these lines for the Lupo plane and the coaster are packed full. I went ahead and raised the train for the Lupo ride just because I wanted to give it some more depth in the area. I went ahead and added some more drink shops. I think this side is actually food. These three buildings are all food, and the four over by the casino are all drinks. Here you see me putting in this little pathway. I'm sneaking it through here because this is where I stick the staff room inside the building. I like being able to do this because it gives the damn building that I built a purpose in game and not just decorations. It also gave me a template to build our food shops over here, so I just extended the concrete walls and made it look like it was part of our dam and hydro station. So here I'm putting in that door so that the employees can get to the staff room, or at least make it look like that's where they go in and out of the building out of. So to make this part of the building match the part of the building that I've already built, we had to put in some roof trim pieces. Got to get the colors to match so it's all the same. Now, as we know, the pathing system in this game, while it's flexible, it's still kind of a pain in the butt. But I was able to make it work again. I was happy with the queue that I got for the Lupo plane. I'm always surprised at how full the line for this ride is. Every park that I put it in, excuse me, it's extremely full, and it's one of the busier rides that I put in my parks. For the pathing for this, I really wanted this to look natural, like you're just kind of walking up a hill to the ride and to the restaurants. And I think eventually I achieved that look. I really like the natural pathing options that they gave us. It really fits the style of the park that I'm going for once you can get the terrain at an acceptable hill pitch. Because I want everywhere that you should be able to walk up on these paths, you should also be able to take your wheelchair. So everything should be handicap accessible. So now we're just going to go ahead and dress this area up a little bit, throw in some colored trees, throw in some bushes. Got to make it look lively, and again, make it look like a lot of these buildings have been here for quite a while. So I'm going to go for a lot of overgrown look and dress it up that way. Now I know a lot of the bushes that I use in here are specific for the alpine terrain, but I went ahead and used them because it gives an extra little splash of color. Just those differences in greens really liven up the area and make it look more grown in. Using some rocks here, I love the rocks in this game. You can really use them to your advantage when you get them to spin around and look just right. Using these small guys here as a little path border, and I think it turned out pretty well. Now I'm using these bigger rocks to fill in our path gaps, just to dress it up a little bit more, because I didn't want it sticking out and looking like the in-game pathing. I wanted it to look like it was one big pathing section that you could pretty much walk wherever. I didn't like that this hill here was kind of just like a cliff where you could jump off and break a leg if you wanted to. So I went ahead and blocked it in with some bigger rocks, make it look like that's how it was naturally, and it started the theming for our coaster area because I want everything to blend in. It always amazes me how adding some trees to an area really changes the vibe of the area you're working on. Because before I put these trees in, it was looking kind of bare and sparse, but now that I put these big old trees in, it really looks like it's been here forever. Some of these trees are huge compared to the people, so you know they've been there for a while. It really makes the park more welcoming. Now I decided to put all these tables in the middle of the pathway because we have all the food and drink restaurants in this area. They need some place to sit to eat and drink. Also put in a bunch of trash cans around. I put in a bunch of benches around the trees and along the edge of the path because I want everybody to be able to find some place to sit. Over here we're dressing up the area around our tilt-a-whirl just to make it look a little bit nicer. Throwing in some rocks, some bushes, maybe a couple flowers, and dressing it up that way. I like to use the rocks where the terrain transitions fairly abruptly, because it makes the rocks look like they're holding the dirt back. And that's what you would find in nature too. Alright guys, so we're going to put some umbrellas over all of our tables so you got shade when you're sitting at them. And then down in the future, I did not record this, but I actually added little lanterns under all these umbrellas so it lights up the area really well. So with that guys, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe so you see the rest, and stay tuned for the next episodes. Thank you.
Thank you.